Howdy, guys. So, I have a question. I was just doing a survey, as we all should, to voice our opinions, on varying things that are going on and throughout the world, um, and get paid for them. And I was doing this study on education, which had nothing to do with education. But I will say I'm staring at myself as I'm doing this because it's in the selfie mode, right? And man, is this really coming out, Santa? I love it. But so I'm just doing this thing, and one of the questions I found like really, really, really weird, and it's been stuck in my head, and it was a couple long paragraph, a couple paragraphs long that you had to read through. Um, Saying that our government, the US government, pardon me, has signed something into effect, an order, that will take effect by 2030. That, you know how in the beginning of the pandemic we went through a lockdown where you couldn't travel in or out of the country and you couldn't travel from state to state? Okay, so by 2030, our government has signed a thing that will go into effect by 2030 to lock down again for a virus. Now, I've been doing some surveys that are on all kinds of different topics. And when it comes to like, before the pandemic, did you shop online? And all this, because they're really, really pushing anymore for people to buy everything, including groceries, online. And then they'll ask you questions about the pandemic and how that's affected everything. But I have not had anything where you read a couple long paragraph, a couple paragraphs long, can't talk apparently, that by 2030, and it's been signed into effect, into order, that by 2030, our government would go through another lockdown for a virus. Now, it wasn't something, like I said, where it was like, due to this new Omni Persei Futurama, because this new variant, all I can think about is the TV show Futurama, the Omni or Omicron Persei. Anyway, so it wasn't asking like, do you think we should go into another lockdown? Do you think do you support that or not? It was that our government signed something into effect that by 2030, those words used, by 2030, we will have another lockdown. What I find really, really odd. Now, okay, let me get to that. Whether you feel that this is, like I felt all along, a population control thing, or you think that's all conspiracy theory, either way, it doesn't really matter. I find it really odd that a survey about education, and it had nothing to do with education, was asking me this question of like, do you think we should go into a lockdown for a virus that our government has signed something into effect in order to take effect by 2030 for a virus? And we'll have another lockdown. What is our government not telling us about this? Whether you feel like myself that this is all a population control and the vaccines are a population control thing, because if you dig around, you'll see that there's a lot of people coming forward with vaccines and how they're causing problems. So whether you believe that, there's some conspiracy going on with our government or not is not even the point. Don't you think that's a little odd that our government would sign an order to take effect by 2030 for a virus and we're going to shut down again? Lockdown style? Like we did at the beginning of this? Why would you ask that question in that way? Why wouldn't you pose it as like, due to this new Omicron, and like, do you think we should have a lockdown again? That would be like totally like, oh yeah, or oh no, whatever your feeling may be about it. Why would you ask the question and have me read a couple long paragraphs? A couple paragraphs long. I did it again. Um, that our government has signed an order to take effect by 2030 that we're going to have a lockdown again for a virus at 2030. And here we are, it's 2021. Coming to the end of 2021, and we're about to enter 2022. Why are we having to sign something into effect that'll take place for a virus in 2030? Do you think that's odd? Do you think that our government isn't telling us everything? Whether you think all of this conspiracy theory or not, or anything like that, give me your opinions. Because to me, this has been stuck in my head, and I'm like, wow, dude, that's like, why would you sign something into effect for a virus in 2030? I don't really understand. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I hope you all are safe and healthy. And for every single one of you that are watching this, I hope all of the people you know in your family, in your friend circle, in your whole little circle that you've got going on, and everyone that you know around you, whether they're in your circle or not, I hope everybody is safe. I personally do think that this is a worldwide thing going on for population control. First half being a virus, second half being vaccine. Whether you fall into my category or not, and you think the way that I am or not since the very beginning, give me your opinions, please. And in the meantime, do all you can to boost your immune systems, whether you've been vaccinated or not. For me personally, I am like pleading religion due to my religious beliefs. And I'm not all like Christian or Catholic or Protestant or anything like this, you know what I mean? But I know that there's a way out, that I can opt out of a vaccine by citing religious beliefs. I don't think God wants this for me. I don't think I want to have that injected into my body. How do you think he got RNA information for a vaccine? And another question I had in that note, do you think maybe one day that all of the women that have had an abortion will be allowed to come forward and say, I went into the doctors and then I came out of the doctors without having a baby, and they told me something, whether they said, okay, your baby died in your womb or whatever it is, because they're not going to tell you flat out, we're going to use your baby's RNA information and you're going to have to discard the trash. But on the plus side, it'll be used for vaccines and you'll save a whole bunch of people. I don't want to have an aborted baby running through my bloodstream. And you know it's going to take more than one per person. I don't want to have a whole slew of aborted babies in my body. It kind of makes me sick. So I'm citing religious beliefs, and I will not be vaccinated. Now, if I have to go to a doctor, I do think it's a little wrong that they're going to push where you you can't have any insurance coverage or anything if you're not vaccinated. Fuck you, you're done. You die, you die. But the bill you're gonna have to pay for. You know what I mean? Whatever, dude. I don't care. Um, Give me your opinions, please, and thank you. May God bless you. Namaste.